Council, I'll call this meeting, today is Tuesday, August 25th, 2026. It is 5 p.m., and I will call this meeting of the Barre City Council to order. First item on the agenda, are there any adjustments to the agenda, Council?
Mayor, I have
Yes.
A request, which is that I had a busier week than intended, and I was going to add some small flood resiliency updates to basically the CDBGDR applications, which fall into flood resiliency plan updates. So I'm going to ask that we strike agenda item 8E and just consider altogether.
8E?
Yes,
Okay.
consider 8A, the flood
Yep.
resiliency plan update, because it includes the, includes what we have in the flood plan.
No problem. Motion to approve would be in order, as adjusted. Thank you. Moved in second, is it second?
Second.
It was. Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Council item 3 is an executive session. This is a grievance hearing, so a motion to we'll need one for findings anyway, if you wouldn't mind.
So moved.
Thank you. And seconded. It's moved and seconded. Take your pick. All those in favor of the motion as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, thank you very much. And council, motion to enter executive session would be in order.
moved.
Joining us, I believe, will be union representative, correct? Our city employee, acting manager, and city council. Motion? Did we get one?
Yes.
We did?
Yes.
Okay, moved and seconded. So motion is to go into executive session. All those in favor of the motion is presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, motion carries. Council will be in executive session in just a moment.
Yes, you can come in. Yeah, we're gonna.
I'm turning everything back on right now.
Chief, you can sit up here if you'd like. It's your
Should be
your
100%
call.
back
If you want to
on.
see what the world looks like from up here, be my guest.
Out of executive session. Mr. Mayor?
Yes, we do need a motion.
To come out of executive session?
Thank you. In a second, please.
Second.
It is moved and seconded to
you do.
exit executive session. All
the
those
good
in
news is I
favor
got
of the
snacks.
motion is
So
presented.
if you want anything.
Please signify by saying aye. And those opposed, council has exited executive session after hearing the USW grievance. Would anyone care to make a motion regarding that grievance?
I make a motion to uphold the grievance, and council will provide a written explanation for that.
Is there a second? It's moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, thank you very much. Okay, council, I will move on to item 3, visitors and communications. I did send a letter from Dan Barlow, People's Health and Wellness Clinic, to the clerk earlier today. I copied all of you on that, and I would just like that entered into the record, please. Yeah, Mr. Barlow he's out of town at a conference, but I told him I would have that entered into the record, and council, you have all seen that. Okay, anyone else under visitors and communications? Yes.
Thought it was starting at 6 o'clock today.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was 5, and I decided not to recess. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I'm Kathy Jameson. You've seen me here before, but like many people in Barre, we wear multiple hats. So today I'm visiting council on behalf of the First Presbyterian Church of Barre, and our new or not so new pastor is planning to join me today for sharing with you our concern. And so an email was sent yesterday. You may not have all seen it yet, but our concern is what's happening on Seminary Street. So let me back up. And I want to be really clear. We welcome the housing project. We're not a NIMBY. We recognize that housing's needed in Barre. When we have voiced all along, our concerns were twofold. One was parking, and two was we wanted to make sure we didn't get any additional impacts from stormwater runoff because we spent over $475,000 renovating after the flood. So we've had those two concerns all along. And for more than a year, I was in communication with the former city manager about the parking issue. And I sent the email, and it shows the chain of correspondence back and forth. And about a year ago, almost a year ago exactly, the former city manager had assured me that if at all possible, they would try to creatively come up with some parking for the church. And one of the things I had mentioned is with Seminary Street coming right in front of the door of the church, could that on Sunday morning only be used for parking to allow, we have elderly folks that can't really walk very far. And then a lot of time passed, and we were informed this spring that that wasn't an option. What wasn't communicated to us at any time was that Seminary Street was getting all ripped up. And so we're really disappointed that no one has communicated to the church that there's this big project going on. Right now, we don't even have a sidewalk in front of our front door. I mean, it's all gone. And we're just really disappointed that we weren't informed about that. We don't know how long we're going to have to operate like this. And what really makes us nervous is we don't know what the final plan is, because very recently, a few days ago, a fire hydrant was installed, and it appears to be where the traffic used to be. So does that mean there won't be a road next to the sidewalk next to the front door? And that's important to the church, because that's how, if we have a funeral service, that's how, the coffin comes in and whatnot. All right. So let me pause for a moment and introduce to you our pastor, Dwight McCormick.
Hi.
How are you?
The meeting
Thanks for your
started
time.
early.
Oh, we started early, okay, so I'm not late.
No, you're good.
So I was diving right in, but what I didn't do, and I probably should have started, is who is the First Presbyterian Church of Barre? So would you like to introduce yourself and do that?
Sure, how long do I have, 60 to 90 minutes? Or I just want to say that.
Sure, I won't be here, but take all the time you need.
No, I want to say that we participate with all the other churches here in the area to try and help the unhoused folks and people who don't have basic needs met. We feed a free breakfast once a month. We worship on Sundays, and we try to make sure that when people are on our property and they look as though they're having a hard time, we have meals that we hand them, or clothing, and we're just part of the community. We participate with Capstone and Good Samaritan Haven, et cetera, trying to show a loving presence. And I believe we've been there about 125 years, and
So,
it's like we haven't had things.
so can I understand better, if you're going up 302 from the park, which church, are we on the right side?
We're right
No,
across from
Seminary Street.
St.
Across from
Monica's.
St. Monica's Church.
Yeah, we're the Green Church.
Oh, I'm way, okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I went to St. Monica's school, but yeah, okay,
So you know what Seminary Street looks like right now.
yeah, okay. I'm way, okay.
So have you?
So I started to express how we were disappointed that we weren't informed about the project. Right now, we don't really have access to the front door. And very concerning is we don't know what the final project looks like. What's our front door access going to be? Because it will be really hard to be a viable organization if we don't have any parking or access to our front door.
Yeah, a lot of our folks have mobility issues already, and we're kind of trapped in there, and it just would be nice to know what the final result is supposed to be and try to figure out how we might work around that. And I believe we would like a meeting with somebody to discuss that from the council when we.
Carol, can I throw you under the bus in 30 seconds? Or put you on the spot, I should say. I would never throw you under the bus. Seminary Street, access to the church. Obviously, the parking that has gone away was always municipal parking, and now we're converting that to housing. The sidewalk access, the access to the front of the church, I wasn't aware, I'm not as familiar with the blueprints as you are, but I wasn't aware that that was going to be reduced in any way.
No, I believe there's still sidewalk there, and there are some additional parking spots that have been added, including at least one handicap spot right along the side there.
On Seminary.
But where was the fire hydrant put?
It's on West Street, it's on
Okay.
the other side of the parking lots.
Okay. Is that, now
Working
you,
off of,
you have all of the contact information for all of the contractors?
yep,
Could you make sure if you exchange, you have Carol, you must have Carol's, treasurer at BarryCity.org.
BarryCity.org.
Yeah, could you make sure that in the next 10 days, would that be okay?
Sundays would be great, thank you.
Okay, that sometime within the next 10 days that they have a meeting with representatives from the church, bring blueprints so that their questions, specifically the questions about, and thank you for offering that information about the parking space and the handicap parking space on Seminary.
That is on Seminary.
Yes,
Okay.
And then probably you'll have to loop the acting into it because the other question was, is there a way that we could allow parking on Seminary on Sundays?
well, parking is allowed, on-street parking is allowed everywhere anyway, and
Wasn't yellow lined on Seminary?
Yes, Seminary technically didn't have on-street parking in front of the church. Maybe you're
Right,
thinking
when it
is
was-
summer?
Yeah, when it was.
Split.
When it was split, yes. They're just this side of the new parklet area. Parking will start there with a handicap spot, and there are, again, I don't have it in front of me, I know there are maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 spaces along that side of Seminary Street. And I can't remember what the plans are for the other side, but we can certainly look at those.
Okay, you can do that.
Thank you.
And-
That's never been communicated to us.
BarryCity.org.
No either.
Right, what's your name?
Okay, so, yes,
If I may just follow up, hi Kathy, hi Dwight. Thank you for following up on this. I didn't know any of this either. 2 things. I know we had a previous conversation about possibly the church having some bags for meters to block spaces so that there could be reserved space for the church. I will leave that up to our city staff to discuss, but I wanted to toss that into the conversation as a possibility. And also, I've just opened up an email to reply to your email to copy in our treasurer and our acting city manager on that conversation so that you're all in the same place.
so your suggestion was to bag the meters on Sunday?
On Summer Street.
On Summer Street. This was a previous iteration of the conversation about how to accommodate parking.
Do we enforce on Sundays? We don't enforce on Sundays.
So,
Bagging for funerals and things.
And we have a
Bagging for
process, we
funerals.
have a process for addressing needing to bag meters or use meters for funerals. It's in our ordinances, it's in our policies and procedures. If I believe you've got a copy, because I think it's generally the funeral homes because they're the ones who make the arrangements.
Right.
So they're generally the ones that inform us when they're going to have need sort of open parking, whether it's out here by the park or whether it's along Summer Street.
Sure.
So there is a process in place for that.
So that will work for the 2 of you?
Well, I'd like to see the plans before,
Be able to see
we
what's
confirm.
going on.
No, what I'm talking about is a meeting
Yes.
with representatives of the church and representatives of the city so that you can get your questions
Thank you.
answered. That would work?
Yes.
And we'll do that within 10 days.
Perfect.
So I apologize. The communication was poor. I acknowledge that. I apologize for it. And this is the A-team. They'll do better.
All right,
Okay.
we appreciate it.
All right,
Thanks
thank
for
you
giving
very
us
much.
time. Thanks for your time.
Is there anyone else under visitors and communications wishing to address? So this is an opportunity for folks to address the council regarding an item that is not on the agenda. Oh, yes, ma'am. I'll get right to you in a minute, sir. Yes.
We won't be long.
That's okay, but you'll need to come up and if you don't mind, and just state your name for the record. There you go.
4 of us here, yeah. Ellen Sivert with a Barre resident and with the
Okay,
Friends
are you
of
here for
Rapid.
item 8C on the agenda, the appointment of a tree warden?
Well, not for the process part. We just came because we sent correspondence to the city council, and we
Yeah.
just wanted to put faces to names and
Okay.
introduce ourselves so that when you discuss things, you'll know, you can know who we are and where we're coming from. So
Okay.
that's basically what we want to do is,
Oh, okay, well, I'll give you time, I promise, I'll give you time when we get to item 8C on the agenda, which talks to the process. I got a feeling your letters are going to go a long way. So, do you mind sticking around and we'll talk about it then?
will that work?
Is that okay? All right, thank you,
Yeah,
everyone.
thank you.
Thank you. Sir, how are you? Good, good.
My name is John Raper. I'm a Barrytown resident.
I know you, John.
I'm a professional photographer, videographer, drone pilot. I was very intrigued with Hope Cemetery and the history of it. And I reached out to Cheryl and she said this would be the place to express my interest. I'd like to do a story or a documentary on Hope Cemetery, the history of it, the year it was founded, how much it was purchased for, the land, the stones, and everything that goes along with that. With that said, I don't know if I need permission from families because the stones, that could take quite a while. I would be very sensitive, like if there's a service, obviously I wouldn't be disrupting any kind of funeral services or anything like that, but it's something I've been thinking about for a while, and I'm not sure if I have to ask permission, forgiveness, or just do it.
Well, neither, but John, you're a stand-up guy. I mean, you wouldn't disrespect somebody's grave, I know you.
No, I have.
And I think it's great. So first of all, thank you for coming and saying, hey, I'm interested in this. Because, Mr. Delcor, from the Times-Argus always covers our meetings. I think it's kind of a fascinating subject that you'd be willing to do it from like a videography, drone, like all kinds of
It would
perspectives.
kind of tie in together between still pictures, video from that camera, as well as drone footage. So basically, I would start from pretty high above, get the lay of the land, and then come back in. The building across the street where they do the mowing, come in that way through the arches.
Yep.
And then it would take the left side where there's markers, work my way down to the left. And I'm not gonna miss any stone, I wanna get everything in there. And I have people buried there too, so there would be no disrespect or disruption of services or anything like that. And work my way out from stone to stone to stone, all the way up to, I take it the right side's the oldest part of it,
Yep.
covering every aspect of it. And as well as Barre City owns the cemetery on the Beckley Hill.
Yes.
That's the only two that they own, right?
Elmwood, St. Monica's, Elmwood, St. Monica's, and Hope.
I'd like to include those as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if we just want to get them all.
Yeah, very, very cool. 2 suggestions. First of all, again, thank you for coming in and making us aware. I'm going to put you in touch. I know I have your email address, don't I?
Probably.
If I don't, just send it to me. We're friends on social media, so just send me your email address. I'm just going to introduce you to the cemetery committee because they're doing a lot of really cool work. And we actually have a project now where we're mapping every grave, and we're going to make that technology available to everyone in the city. We're actually mapping every grave in Hope Cemetery. And so that's a project we're doing now. And I think the cemetery committee would be really interested in the work that you're doing. I think it's really cool. And my second suggestion is, and I know you're cool, but when you go up to fly the drone, just let dispatch know. It really helps.
As far as,
So, and they won't, you're not asking them for permission, you're saying, hi, this is John, the chief knows all about it. I'm going to be flying a drone in Hope Cemetery. It just really helps so that when people call and say, there's some maniac flying a drone, they can say, no, well, yes, he is a maniac, but it's John.
so the day of, let them know that.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably a little ways from that, but just let dispatch know, yeah. Yes,
One thing I would add, obviously you have a drone, so you know the height limit at which you need a pilot's license and contacting the airport and those things, correct?
That drone has a fail-safe. It lets me know if there's planes coming, it automatically lands. And I don't have to have a license because it's underweight. It's at 249 grams. I would have to have a license if I'm selling footage. I'm not selling footage. If there's profit to be made, you have to have a license, but there's no.
Correct, I wanted to make sure at what height you were going where it would interfere with the airport, where you'd have to contact them and let them know.
Right. So it's capable of 400 feet, but at that height, there's really nothing you want to look at in the cemetery that's going to be stand out, so it wouldn't be 2 inches from a stone, but it might be 10, 15, 20 feet up, depending on the size of the stone, so, but nothing to interfere with any planes or anything like that, so.
Thank you. Awesome. Any questions, council, or comments? Yes.
You should come up the hill and see us at the Historical Society for your footage, and
The old high school? I've been in there, it's pretty cool.
we have Hope Cemetery stuff coming out our ears, so,
There's some stuff I could take a peek.
absolutely.
Perfect.
Thank you, John.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Good seeing you. Anyone else under visitors and communications? Okay. Hearing and seeing no one, council will move on to the consent agenda. We'll be approving the minutes of the regular meeting of 8/4/26. Do you have any office licenses or permits?
I have two.
Go for it.
Equinox Morse Dance Tour. They are hosting an exhibition Saturday, September 19th from 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. in City Hall. And then Throttle Up for Hockey. It is a fundraiser. It's a poker run hosted by Central Vermont Youth Hockey. That is Saturday, October 3rd from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Thank you. And in addition, I didn't see any contracts in the packet.
There's no contracts. There is a document that you'll see under old business that I will be required to sign after discussion.
Thank you. Motion would be in order.
So move.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? Thank you very much. Motion carries. Council will move on to item 4A on the agenda. We'll be approving the city warrants of 8/26/26. We'll be ratifying the weeks of 8/12/26 and 8/19/26. A motion would be.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, are you abstaining?
Yes.
Thank you very much. And one abstention, the motion carries. Ms. City Clerk,
Okay.
how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, thank you.
I have two pieces of information. If you have not yet received your interim tax bill, they were mailed out last week. The first quarter payment is due September 15th by the end of the day, which is 4 p.m. Please be mindful of the city, that the city is no longer accepting postmark payments as timely, meaning the payment must be in the office by 4:30 on the 15th of September. You may drop it off at a drop box, you may walk it in, you may mail it. Secondly, on September 15th also is the Barre Unified Union School District budget revote. We have sent absentee ballots out already. 425 have been issued, 28 have been returned. Again, you can place ballots in one of the two drop boxes. You may hand deliver them, you may mail them early, or bring them to the polls to drop in the drop box there, or you may walk them through the voting booths and just drop it into the box at the end. These ballots will be hand counted at the end of the night. Any questions? Yes?
There's a nerdy question for you. So out of all of the absentee ballots that went out, how many people either didn't return or hadn't voted? Do you
From the last,
just in general, would you say?
I believe we mailed out around 400, received back 350. Those are approximate, but pretty close.
Yeah. No, and I'm just looking for approximate.
Yep.
Thank you. Any other questions for the clerk? Thank you very much. I don't believe we have anything under Liquor or Cannabis Control Board. Mr. Acting, it's all yours.
Regarding the municipal pool, Michelle and her staff did an awesome job this year. The last day was on the 15th. She tracked attendance, and average attendance was 114 during the weekdays and 91 during weekend days. Not sure why. Probably weather-related, maybe. It always rained on the weekends, I'm guessing. SD Ireland has begun their prep and paving on the streets identified for this year's paving. They started up in the Camp and Hill Street area. We did send out a regroup message outlining all the road closures and traffic concerns for those areas. We sent that out yesterday. For an FD update, the deputy chief process is beginning. They've got, I believe, 6 or 7 applicants that they're putting through a process for the deputy chief. And their IAFF negotiations are still ongoing. And in the police department, we have an upcoming retirement of our school resource officer, Jason Fleury. His last day will be September 17th. And our community service officers that were formerly known as the Bees, they are winding down. One of them has went back to college. The other one is still with us because he goes to Norwich, and he'll be fluctuating his schedule to get the best bang for the buck as weather permits. And I'll be doing a recap with the hours and the numbers and posting that publicly on Front Porch Forum as to what their activities were.
That's it. Okay, any questions? Yes.
I don't have a question, but thank you. I'm so excited to see pavement on Camp Street. It is
Next, we'll get the speeding complaints.
probably, but it's really nice to have it paved, so thank you. It's fantastic.
It's, yeah, I mean, it happens a little later than we would like, and there are budget considerations. I mean, basically, they accommodate us with better pricing if we accommodate them with a later schedule. So that's why we try to do it that way. I mean, I agree with you, paving can't come fast enough. Yes.
Chief, can you address what the new cameras are on Main Street?
Those, contrary to what Facebook is saying, they are not flock cameras. Flock cameras do the LPR component to it. Those are part of our Verkada camera systems that we came before council and discussed with the policy for security reasons. They don't track vehicles, none of that.
Thank you, sir. I just wanted people to be clear of
Yes.
what they exactly are, and
They're not flock.
sir.
And one other thing for your radar, not anytime soon, e-bikes,
Yeah.
getting those, just seems like that,
WCAX.
that cat's
just did
getting a little out of the bag.
Yeah, WCAX just did a report on that for Winooski and outlining the differences, and I think it would be good to do that here.
And, you know, we are, I mean, thankfully, we're maybe not thankfully, because winter is right around the corner, and obviously you don't see e-bikes in the wintertime. So, I mean, we've got plenty of time to address it, but I'm just seeing more, I'm reading more, I'm even being more observant. I pay attention when I see an e-bike going through the city. I would say 75% of the people wearing a helmet, obeying the rules. Some just are not. You know, they're going a little too quickly, they're on sidewalks. And so just as you're looking at what other municipalities are doing and whether there's something we should be doing with regard to our current ordinances, just keep that on your radar, and maybe in, I don't know, a month or two, come back with something.
I'm sorry, could I ask a
Yes.
question? I'm so sorry. I had a call from a resident who was at the cemetery, and there was a dog loose, being walked, but not on leash. And the resident was concerned that there was a dog walking in the cemetery. Our ordinance says that their dogs are not supposed to be walked in the cemetery. Is that correct?
No, actually, I believe our ordinances do allow dogs in the cemetery.
There's,
They allow dogs in the cemetery, but they have to, I apologize, I don't have the whole thing committed to memory. Do you care?
I was just looking, and I thought it
Something
said
like
it
10
didn't.
feet, like they can't go within a certain number of feet of a grave site. There's stuff about that. Yes, do you have
There's
a,
a granite sign at Elmwood, which I pass every day, that says no animals in the cemetery.
yeah, we just never took it down.
Okay, maybe we should.
So here's my question, because if there is an ordinance that says the dog should be on leash, maybe we should at least, or that they can't be within 10, this particular dog apparently peed on a stone, and that
Okay, yeah,
was
you can't do
unfortunate. So how can, like, and he called me because he was concerned about, like, is there an ordinance? He wanted to try to get to the bottom of it, then called me back and said, I guess there isn't an ordinance, and I'm so sorry to bother you, but I'm bringing it up because if that happens, someone sees something, what is their recourse? What should they do?
They can certainly call dispatch and an officer can respond, because we do have the nuisance animal ordinance that talks about, being on leash or under voice command and those sorts of things, running loose, running at large. And we have gotten calls about dogs up in the cemetery and have went and spoken to the owners.
Okay, so we can just pass that
I
along.
believe when Counselor Bergeron was
Yeah, and I think it's,
in,
I think
we've
it's,
had quite a few dealings with, I think it was one person in particular, if I recall correctly,
Yeah.
about 3 or 4 years.
and I think it says 20 feet from the center of the
It
pavement.
could very well be.
Yeah.
We do, but when people say dogs are not allowed in the cemetery, that's just not necessarily accurate. We do have ordinances, but not one that out bans.
Okay,
Yeah, but I'll look it up, I'll get it for you. I know I can find it.
thank you.
Any other questions for the acting? Okay, then council, we will move on. We're a couple minutes late. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and take 7A. If anyone is here for item 8A, which is our public hearings for the CDBG DR applications, we'll be getting to that in just 2 or 3 minutes. So under 7A, what have you got for us, Chief?
So at its August 4th council meeting, Brian Baker, the Department of Public Works Director, who's also online if there's any questions, brought forth a proposal for SD Ireland to do some shim paving on the South Main Street from the city line on up through. And at that time, it was agreed to do, you were comfortable with $214,000 as an estimate. When SD Ireland came and looked at the roads, surprisingly, they said, whoa. And they felt more comfortable if the bid said not to exceed $250,000. Noting that it was a $36,000 difference, I didn't feel comfortable signing that without council approval.
Brian, anything you want to address? Put him right on the spot. He's just like, no. How are you?
Good. There's not a, they did say that the 214 sounds reasonable, but they, with the exact conditions, they felt more comfortable to have a 250 not to exceed price. So, they had given us one to do the complete thing of 430,000, and TJ and I used their unit prices and narrowed it down to the 214. And when they looked at the existing, the new limits, they were more comfortable with a 250. So that's where we stand.
Understood. And so your recommend is to approve?
Yes, please.
Okay. Motion to approve would be in order.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you very much. Let's get paving. Okay, council, we'll move on to item 8A on the agenda. This is warned for 6:15. It is now 6:20. These are 2 public hearings. One is for the CDBG, they're both for the CDBG DR applications. First will be Resolution 2026-11. This is the North End. It should say North End buyouts and housing, because that's how it was, the warning was presented. And the second is Resolution 2026-12, 143 North Main Street, housing development application approval. So, Janet, how are you? It has been, and I got to start by saying to Jim and Josh, if you want to come up, why are you sitting back there, chicken?
Oh, snuck in.
That's all right. But to Jim and to Josh, to Pat Moulton, Pat is joining us online, and to Janet, thank you. It has been an incredibly busy and productive 3 weeks. And I am just so, first of all, thank you for letting me be a bit part of it. But I am just so thankful for the four of you and for our developers for responding the way that you have, because I think we've got some really competitive applications. And I just wish they had more money. So Jan, if you want to kick it off, we're going to talk about the North End project first. If you want to kick that off, that's fine. And Council, I'm warning you, listen, we were learning every day. I was meeting on Sunday at my office with a couple of developers and talking about even more proposals, how we could make them more competitive, how we could how we could perhaps expand from, because all of these tend to be rentals. I'd like to see people have the opportunity to own a home. And, I just think it's a better scenario when people can put down roots. So we have, anyway, so I'll get to that. We're going to pivot a little bit on you.
Are you going to open the hearing, or do you want me to give a quick little narrative first?
I'll just open the hearing with you giving your quick little.
Okay, thank you very much. Here we are again, but this is for round three. Round three funding is what is left at the Agency of Commerce. $4.2 million total. So not only is Barre City looking to get the last little bit, we're up against other municipalities. Tom introduced the team. I want to do it again. Josh Jerome, Executive Director of Barre Area Development, who's been integral in helping us with budgets and getting the 143 application done. Pat Moulton, State Hazard Mitigation Officer. She's been keeping us all right on task and is working with Jim Levinsky, who's our consultant, to get the North End buyouts done. And I'm coming in with all the little other bits and pieces to help the team bring this to fruition. So again, round three, last amount of money. We started with 3 preliminary applications with ACCD. And after a meeting that Josh held on behalf of the city, they strongly recommended only 2 of them, so we've moved forward with 2 of them, North End buyouts and housing, and 143 North Main Street redevelopment. As you know, North End, we've been struggling to try to get funding for that, to try to get some things started. Where we've landed is some green space, buying some properties along North Main Street down near the Public Safety Building, creating green space for flood storage and potential park-like areas, and Wabi Park as a redevelopment for housing. And there's other areas that we have talked about creating housing, but that's where we've focused in on. So that's ultimately the North End buyouts and housing in a nutshell. Like I said, third and last bite at the apple. We are applying for all $4.2 million for this project. I would turn it over to Pat Moulton or Josh Jerome if they want to add to the project. Yeah, like Tom said, we've been really at it hard, so.
Anything you want to add, Pat?
I would just say the application is due on Monday, the 25th. And Janet has explained the use of these funds. It's one of the things we need to cover, is for community development, disaster recovery, housing, business assistance, buyouts, et cetera. And so the city is proceeding as Janet described. And I think we're in good shape. Those of you who may say, well, gee, third time's going to be the charm, right? I really hope the third time is the charm. Things are different and in a better position with these applications in that we have developers that are actually interested in building the housing, which was not a component that was available to the 2 prior North End applications. So we're feeling more optimistic about the opportunities for success.
Just to clarify, Monday the 31st is the...
Oh, I'm sorry, Monday the 31st. Thank you, John. I was like, I just shut off a whole week for myself. My apologies. Yeah.
We would have been exactly.
Did you have a question?
I had a quick follow-up question, something Janet said. Emma, I want to understand the money split or not between these 2 applications. Are they each a half of the 4.2 million, or are they each a 4.2 million and one of them gets the whole apple?
Yeah, I was going to say that at the next hearing component. We're applying for 4.2 for each of them.
Okay.
We're just all in on either one.
Yeah, and we'll be very frank with you, we're hoping that both, I mean, I know that both projects are going to score high. We might get the opportunity to call an audible and split the money between the projects. You know me, sometimes I want it all, and I don't stop until I get it all. So I'm just excited by both these projects. Unfortunately, I wish that we had this particular team together in rounds 1 and 2. We would have been successful.
That's my question. Can you compare and contrast this from the first two? In a nutshell, I guess, or no?
I mean, the first two, and again, so Janet spoke at the beginning of the hearing about having 3 applications for the north end initially. The state made it very clear they were interested in a housing component, a significant housing component, right from the get-go. We submitted, for example, the applications for the elevations, and that was one of the applications we submitted in rounds 1 and 2. That application was denied in both rounds 1 and 2.
I understand that.
Former manager said we should submit it again in round 3. I met with the secretary, I met with his team, we have met with members of their team. That application, and there's a part of me that doesn't quit. I know it's annoying. And that part of me didn't want to quit on those people who wanted elevations. But there's only so much energy, there's only so much money. We had been turned down twice, and their team was looking right at us and saying, this is going to get turned down a third time. We are looking for a significant housing component. So, these folks, we've gotten to know them well, the folks at ACCD, they're so helpful. They're always trying to encourage us to do better, making suggestions, and they were telling us, don't submit it. So how arrogant would I have to be to submit it? I'm just going to upset people because I'm burning up their time because they have to score an application that we knew was, so it was just dumb. So we threw our energy, we turned the north end, which again, the north end was just a buyout. That's all it was, green space. And we turned that on its head. And at first we thought, let's turn it into 8 units of housing and rental housing. And then we thought a little more and we said, no, we can likely make a 22 unit building. We can do something more significant. Let's do 22 units of housing in the north end as well as the green space. And that looked awesome. And then as late as last Friday, we started looking at a model and said, the more we learn about the programs, the more we learn about CHIP, the more we learn about the DR program, the more we learn about the Treasurer's Loan Program. We started looking at things and saying, we could do, okay, so, and we had 22 one-bedroom units, so 22 bedrooms. And as we looked at it and we started working with Eric and Trim, they came to us and said, we keep putting pencils to this and trying to massage it. And now we came up with this 18-unit townhouse style building that has 36 bedrooms, not 22. And oh, by the way, if we can do it this way, we might be able to pivot to a home ownership model. So instead of having 22 people renting a one-bedroom apartment for the next 50 years, we could have 18 families raising a small family on the north end. And it was just that, all of us got chills today as late as today, when we're finalizing this and saying, okay, guys, we got to really think hard. We just love the home ownership model, and I firmly believe that if you want people to stay in a community and be invested in a community, and I'm certainly not suggesting that people who rent don't, but if they own a home and they own a part of the city, they just tend to be more invested. And picking up and leaving isn't the easiest option when you own a home. Right. So like I said, that's, so that's where
pivoted
we're
from
at.
green space to home ownership, basically.
I'm sorry?
So we pivoted from green space more to
No,
home
no,
ownership.
we're including the green space as well. So we would acquire a number of properties. Remember, the Air Auto property is already in the mix,
Right.
so that is going to be permanent green space. And what we're looking at is, we're looking at the builder's specialty, well, Matt Grundy's property, where People's Health and Wellness Clinic used to be.
Right.
Help me out with the 535?
Isn't Bailey's own that?
553 is that.
553, thank you. I knew there was a 5 in there somewhere. So we're looking at that. We're looking at the former Salvation Army property that is owned by the Moet Trust. And then there's a few, and that actually has a few lots deep and a lot over. And then there's one other lot that we're looking at as well. So, imagine, just close your eyes and imagine green space all in front of the public safety building. And then being able to look slightly to the left, and there's a row of townhomes that are owned, that people own. And people who make $53,000 a year could own a 2-bedroom townhome. So that LNA who works up in the nursing home, he or she could own that. That person who works in, someone who works in City Hall, they could own that. It was just a real exciting moment. Oh, yes, Pat.
Sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to add, Tom, really great description, but the green space that we hope to create here will augment the green space that's been being made through the buyouts on the river side of 302, the heirs property, et cetera. So the entrance to Barre will have both left and right hand side of the roads, green space, opportunity to really improve the visuals as one enters the city of Barre. I just wanted to add that. So, and those buyouts on the other side are being done by FEMA. So the FEMA buyouts will complement the buyouts that we're going to do in this application.
If you reflect back on what the governor presented a couple of years ago, is to have our gateway with some green space. We feel like we've nailed that down this time, so. And we actually have a developer on the hook, which we didn't have under the other 2 rounds. So we're, like Tom said, we're very confident this time.
That would look really nice down there, being from Ward 3.
And I want to be clear, it would be a start. I want people to know that as long as I'm here, I'll keep pushing to do more every year. And if we just do something every year, even if it's one lot that, or one home, like I've always said, it's a multi-year project. This is a long journey. It's going to be a marathon, not a sprint. But I'm just really grateful for this team and the time that. I'm grateful for the pressure, because I think we all perform better under pressure. So thanks for that, because I think it all worked out. So like I said, if are there any questions that folks have about where we're going or this proposal? Okay, so council, so what I clearly understood in the motion is that you are approving Resolution 2026-11. This is a North End buyouts and housing application. I want to be really clear about something. I think we've made the pivot from 22 1-bedroom rental units to 18 2-bedroom townhouse units that would promote homeownership. I think we've made that pivot, but I just want to be very clear to all of you that it could be either or. You're going to have to trust this team. I think it's going to be. Pat, what do you think? I mean, I think it's going to be the home ownership model. It just really excites me. But if we come back with the 22 1-bedroom, I mean, literally, we are learning stuff every day. These are new programs. So I just want to be clear to the council, you're going to have to take a little bit of leap of faith. But unlike our previous applications, we are committed to providing housing in the North End and flood resiliency. Yes.
So I don't know if you all read the article in Digger today about housing and how there's part of the reason why we have a housing shortage is because our family units are shrinking. And so I was even thinking in my neighborhood, how many people are just single people living in homes. And they might be 2-bedroom homes, they might be 3-bedroom homes, there might even be, 4 or 5 bedrooms. But I say this because I think something like home ownership in a townhouse might be a nice option, but I also think you might also want to think about 1-bedroom home ownership, because if we could get some of these people who are in, single-family homes with 2 or 3 bedrooms to move into a 1-bedroom, we'd actually have more housing.
Yep, and that's coming up
Okay,
in
good.
Resolution 2612. But even these, it's interesting when you talk to people about 1-bedroom units, I mean, where these price points are coming in, who we're going to be able to offer them to, most people would actually prefer a 2-bedroom. They may work from home.
Right.
They may have children who come visit. They got to have a spare bedroom. So if you ask them, well, if we could keep the price point competitive, would you rather have 2 bedrooms or would you rather have 1? What I found is most people say, I'd kind of rather have 1. And these are relatively, these are only, I believe, 1,050 square feet. They're not large by any stretch. They're not as big as your home or my home, or, so yes, I did see that article, and that's why I'm excited to be able to offer people who might be living in a 3 or 4 bedroom home the opportunity to downsize, and most importantly, the opportunity to do it affordably. Yeah, I'm just excited by it. So if you all understand the motion, and like I said, the sentiment behind it, that it could be, we've got a week, right, Janet? So it could be either or. So if you're okay with that, the motion and second would be in order.
So moved. Second.
It's moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Thank you, council. We'll move on to the public hearing for 26-12. This is the 143 North Main Street Housing Development Application Approval. This one, council, has not changed. We're not going to call an audible on you. This particular project, we are working with the EW Construction, and what they have proposed is at 143 North Main, what they are proposing is 30 units of housing. 15 would be 1-bedroom units, 15 would be 2-bedroom units. Again, we have to meet the requirements, the income requirements and affordability requirements of the program. They're certainly prepared to do that. So Janet, anything you want to add to that one?
Like the mayor said, this is a repeat, but we have so much more. At this point, we have the developer that we need. We have a plan moving forward. We're in just such a better place for round 3.
And just wanted to mention, council, that we approached multiple developers. These were the 2 who we landed on, and I think I speak for everyone, Janet and Josh. I mean, I think everyone's comfortable with the approach. Yes.
Could you please repeat the numbers again?
Oh, sure. 30 units, 30, 15 1-bedroom, 15 2-bedroom, and these would be at the 143 North Main Street location.
And are they all the way to the first floor, or is their first floor retail or commercial?
Well, the building is going to have to be elevated, and so they're still trying, I think they're still trying to work through, the housing units are a definite. What they're trying to work through is, for example, the building footprint. Let's say it's 16,000 square feet. It wouldn't be that big. It would probably be more like 8,000 square feet. So it'd be a 3-story building. You really don't need 6,000 or 8,000 square feet of retail on Main Street. So that will likely get shrunk on the first floor. And what they've talked about is actually parking, a podium-style building, where if you look at the building, it looks like it goes all the way back, but it really doesn't. You're parking underneath most of the first floor.
But there would be frontage on Main Street?
Yes.
Or something?
Yeah. I mean, we've all agreed that, first of all, we can't have housing units fronting Main Street. We all understand that. They have to be elevated. So again, they're just trying to work through. My suggestion to them was I wouldn't build 8,000 to 10,000 square feet of either retail or office space on Main Street. I just wouldn't do it. Not now. Honestly, the parking tends to be more valuable. Vern, did you have a question? Vern, did you have a question?
Okay, sorry. Different iPad. I'll have to find the right buttons. Thank you. Um, how much of the money that's being requested is actually going to demolition and brownfield cleanup? And how much is going towards a building part of the project? Because we've already invested $400,000 of city money buying this property. How much more is the city going to have to spend? Because no matter where the money comes from, the city basically is spending it to clean it up and to get rid of it. So then you have a place to build.
Oh, thank you. No, that is actually, those numbers are actually carried in the developer's budget. So when you say how much of the 4.2, and you kept mentioning the city, it would not be the city doing any demolition. It would not be the city doing any cleanup. Those costs are carried as part of the developer's budget. And that would, of course, a portion of that would be part of the 4.2 million. As I recall, and anyone correct me if I'm wrong, I think the total construction costs were a tick over, I do have a breakdown, I just don't have it in front of me. It was a tick over 13 million. Is that correct?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was around 13 million, as I recall. Pat, do you, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm 95% certain that it was right around that. So to answer your question, Byrne, the developer would request that the city turn that property over for $1. But also keep in mind, please, that if you talk about a $400,000 investment, a $13 million project, this is a taxable building. It is not tax-free, it is taxable. We'll collect tax revenue on it. So as far as I'm concerned, it won't take very long to recoup the $400,000 that the city paid, in addition to providing 30 homes for residents here in the city. So I'm all in.
Well, I'm not arguing that. I just have not been either following it closely enough or privy to the information about, what the developer is doing and who owns what. And I know that's probably all being done by the people that are presenting. And thank you, Janet and Josh, for all this work, and to all the team doing that. These are two really big and important projects, and I'm glad that we're being able to move forward on them. So thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. If I can add
Yeah, of
to
course.
maybe help Byrne's understanding, we've applied to the Regional Planning Commission, Brownfields Committee, to assist with assessments. And they have a consultant, and what they'll work through is the phase one's been done. They're reviewing a work plan and a phase two environmental site assessment that gets it one step further to know what the cleanup will be. So we're having assistance getting that done as well.
So
Great.
thank
Janet.
you very much. Can I ask a little follow-up to that? Is what happens if we don't get the $4.3 million? Where are we with that? Are we still trying to move forward on the project?
I think we just keep looking for other places to
Exactly.
help us with this project.
Yeah.
Thanks,
won't
Janet.
stop. Yeah.
Thank you.
Amy, did you have a question?
Yeah, I'm just curious, maybe I was trying to get my thoughts around this for the first project, but with this one as well. We just went through the reassessment, and that would have taken into account flood damage and that sort of thing on properties. So I'm wondering what happened to these properties in terms of reassessment, like if their value went down with the reassessment, and therefore the redevelopment projects would be an even bigger increase in property value and taxable value. I don't know if my question's making sense, but we talked a lot about, like, say, with the buyouts, part of the issue was that we would lose property tax value if things were taken off the tax rolls. For these, part of the logic is getting better properties on the tax roll, but I'm wondering if the reassessment that we just went through showed how much lower they were because they've been flooded and damaged and that kind of thing.
I honestly don't know what 143 has been reassessed for, but it's been reassessed for what it appears and looks like today on the market, if that helps. Bear in mind that this is a redevelopment project, so all the coming off the tax rolls kind of thing, we're looking future-wise to make this a viable and active and living piece of property that eventually is going to have people in it and offices or retail. Does that help?
I think so. I think I'm just not explaining my question well.
May I ask a clarifying
course.
follow-up? Amy, are you asking from the point of view of, are we going to come out net ahead in terms of the value of these properties?
Yes, and even more so if the reassessment showed that, not looking at what were these properties assessed at and what property taxes were they doing before the flood, but right now I'm guessing on a lot of damaged properties, they are generating even less property tax. So it's even more important to redevelop them. But, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I can speak to both. So the projected property taxes, for example, I realize we're in a different hearing, but I'll just go back and make both examples if I may. At Wabi Park, currently, those properties, the properties that we're looking at acquiring and turning into green space, those are assessed, I believe, at around $500,000. It might be six. Let's do six. Let's go a little higher. About $600,000. $600,000, Carol, put your math hat on, I'm going to call on you. $600,000 that will generate about $17,000 in property tax revenue, $18,000 maybe?
Yeah, but that includes the education portion.
Yeah, but I'm going to include both, because she's talking, overall, and we will collect or lose property taxes on overall. So we're going to lose, give or take, about $18,000 in tax revenue on the north end. We'll replace it with if we do the homeownership model, we will replace it with $162,000 a year. So, that one's just a no-brainer. 143, I'm with you, Janet. I don't know what it is assessed at. If it is assessed at more than $250,000, the city should grieve it. Doesn't matter, because we're collecting zero in property taxes today. The project that DEW has proposed will be a and I know the project is 13 million, I can tell you, I want to say 13.7, is a $13 million project, grossing hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in rental income. So even $13 million projects, really, this one pencils out. And obviously it pencils out, and they have factored in property taxes. So we're currently collecting zero on 143. We paid $400,000 for it. Let's say we collect, and keep in mind, just on Wabi Park, there we would collect $162,000 in property tax revenue. 143 would have to be, as I think, start doing the math in my head, it would have to be at least 100,000. That's recovering our entire purchase price in 4 years, and then it's just up from there. So, either way, when we look at, that's why I like the ownership model. They just work so much better in terms of the city's overall return. So both of these would be a clear home run.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Any other questions? Yes. Oh, where? I missed it. Yeah. Who, Peter?
I thought Peter had his hand.
No, he was giving me the finger. No, he was just giving me the finger.
Okay, he saw the hand, want to be sure he gets to talk.
It's all good. No, these are both exciting projects. They really are. And the folks at ACCD and the administration have been so helpful. But, again, I know I'm gushing a bit, and I don't gush often, but I am just so proud of these four, because I kept throwing all this crap at them at the last minute, like, well, why can't we do this? I want more. And, you know, they just responded to it. You were patient. I know what you said when you hung up the phone, okay? I know what you said.
I said, thank you.
No, you didn't. No, but you did. You were all so patient and so hardworking. And, you know, honestly, I can't wait for the next big thing, because there will be more here in Barre City. Josh has been such a great asset here in the city, as has Jim as a consultant. And, you know, so there will be more, because there's just a lot more to be done. So, Council, if you're so inclined, the appropriate motion would be to approve Resolution 2026-12, which is the 143 North Main Street Housing Development application as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, thank you very much. Thank you, folks. Take the rest of the night off.
Thank you.
You've done some good work. Yes.
Amanda, is there any way to turn up the volume on the people speaking?
Thank you. I thought it was me.
Well, I'm thinking like, am I really just like, am I going deaf? Is it?
Yeah, let me tinker with it. There's a couple of ways.
Turn it on the, I think you can turn it on the computer.
No, so it's actually coming out of the owl.
Doesn't sound like it's coming out of the owl to me.
Oh, speaker.
They wouldn't let me
speakerphone.
touch
It says
that
it's coming
stuff.
out of the owl.
Okay.
Council, we're at item 8B on the agenda. This is the High Watermark Project. Barre Rivers Collective. How are you, folks?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. All yours.
I am Jim Deschler, a member of the Barre Rivers Collective. And I have Peter and Danielle, both of who you know, by my side. I'm here to ask approval for a high watermark sign. This project is led by the Vermont DEC and in partnership with Army Corps of Engineers and the National Weather Service. The goal is to install a physical marker in Barre City that would probably look like a post with markers showing the water levels reached during past floods. Events like 2023, maybe 2011, it would be placed in a visible, high-foot traffic public location. The goal is to help residents and visitors visually understand the city's real flood history and risk. And this is similar to a sign that I had actually seen in Montpelier. It's the sign design, I guess the sign printing is fully funded by the Vermont DEC and the Army Corps of Engineers, meaning the sign itself is provided at no cost to the city. The only responsibility and what I'd be asking for approval of is for you to approve the project, would be working on the installation hardware and then actually physically installing the sign, and that would be the responsibility of the city. Army Corps and DEC said that they would be willing to assist with that if there were questions. So my first step is to ask for the approval. After that, we would start to figure out what we're going to put in the sign, look into possible locations, things like that. We'd have someone from the Weather Service come out to do surveys and actually find the marks of where the high water points were.
Any preliminary, I mean, you can't tease us like that without giving us some sort of, where you think, no idea at all?
Where?
Yeah, where? You must have a few ideas.
I do. Obviously in the north end, maybe in the Ayers Street area or the Willie Street Bridge or Prospect near Gusto's. It kind of depends on what things will look like as far as actual high water marks. It's also just an opportunity for education too. So somewhere where there's some traffic and people will see it, somewhere near the river.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, Council, motion to approve would be in order? Yes.
I will happily move, but I also have two requests. One is that there's one down near the Desrose area, which is going to be a nice buyout green space as well, and I think that will be a really good educational spot for it. And another is that you think more expansively and even frankly before 27, there's going to be high water mark data back to the 19th century. I don't know if it will be good enough to fit into this program, but I think that showing a really historic perspective on the floods could be really interesting.
I agree. There was the one in Montpelier has the 1927 flood, and when you look up, it's 6 feet above your head.
And it's going to be the same in Barre, but I think there was an 1888 flood and a couple of others that would really provide some fun perspective.
Great. Yeah, and I'm open to suggestions for content and locations as you're giving, and I'll keep you in the loop about it too.
So I will also make that motion to accept.
Wow, I'm looking at the
Yeah, the 27 was
high water mark.
not
Like
messing
photo
around.
from- Wow.
Yeah.
I had never seen that before. Holy cow. Wow.
And that's on Langdon Street, I believe, in Montpelier. So next time you're there, go check it out.
I definitely will.
You can go, a lot of the stores in downtown Montpelier have 27 high water marks inside the
Yeah,
store
there's one in
too.
There's one in the vestibule of Christ Church.
Was that a motion?
A little while ago, yes, and it was seconded.
And a second. It's moved and seconded. Any discussion, folks? Or questions? Hearing and seeing no one. All those in favor of the motion as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you very much. Motion carries, and thank you all very much. Appreciate the work you're doing.
For me, it's a little bit about also resilience, as well as history and memory.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Fantastic.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Council, we're at item 8C on the agenda. This is the process of appointing a tree warden. Folks, you want to come up now? You're welcome to.
Nope.
Okay. Council, you received 2 letters in your packet. Actually, they were not in your packet. You received them separately. One was from Ellen Severett, who you met earlier this evening. She was writing to support the appointment of Adam McCullough for the Barre City Tree Warden or Deputy Tree Warden. And you also received a letter from Chris Russo Frazier. She was also supporting Mr. McCullough as the tree warden. So you go for it.
Well, so Carol and I discussed me just framing this up a little bit, if I may.
Of course.
So as you saw in your packet, when we approved the whole list of appointments across the city, tree warden is one of the options. It is currently Tom Baker, as it has been the facilities person for a little while now. Jeff and I had some email correspondence about this. That is not set in stone. It does not have to be. In reviewing, there is some unhelpful conflicting information between charter and ordinance that we should probably make a future point of cleaning up. That describes the work of the tree warden. Ordinance names a tree committee, for example, that we no longer have. I know Amanda can speak to the history of that a little bit if we're interested. So that is a future challenge for folks. But I think we've had Adam step forward and volunteer to be a tree warden. So the question before council is, do we move that appointment? And if so, we can bring it for actual appointment to the following council meeting. Does that cover everything, Carol? All right, thank you.
Yeah, okay, all good. So council, what's your pleasure? Or is there anything you'd like to add, folks?
I'd love to hear from Adam a little bit.
Yeah, I'm Adam McCullough, state urban forester. I work for the Urban and Community Forestry Program. I used to be the city arborist of Montpelier. And I live in Montpelier, so I would have loved to be the tree warden there, but they already have one that's really active and actually used to be my boss there at the city. Yeah, so I'm just, I love the idea of continuing to explore the trees opportunities here in Barre. And I've actually worked among the trees in Barre multiple times in different projects, and I know the trees probably better than I know anyone else in Barre. Questions? I mean, I'm happy to answer questions.
Yes.
Can you help us with the trees on Main Street? Because they need a lot of help. We had, who came in and, was it planners? I can't remember who came in and talked to us. Someone told me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, they said that our trees, they asked about those trees on Main Street and commented on how small they are and asked how long they'd been here. And we apparently are not doing a very good job by those trees. And they, by this time, should be like much bigger, and it would really enhance our downtown. So if you can tell us that you can help us with that, I say, yeah, go for it. Amanda's like, I want to
love to talk about this. And so I was a former chairperson of the Barre City Tree Committee, as well as a teacher over at the Central Vermont Career Center. So I had an army of natural resources students who took it upon themselves to study our Main Street city trees. We we pulled in a lot of our resources, urban and community forestry folks, the state. We worked with the tree warden in Montpelier. And what we learned was alarming in that when we had our reconstruction, our big project on Main Street, those trees, of course, were planted. They then, without having anyone overseeing our trees, which was because I saw this originally, I was like, our trees are dying, and our students were taking data and noting there were 3 a year dying, and that was the rate. And so they said, in a couple years, there will be no trees left. And so the trees that were dying weren't even being cut down. And then when we would note them, they would be cut down and then never replaced. And so thankfully, Jeff Bergeron, in his role with the city, was active in working with us, and we started to replant those. What we found when we dug up the trees with the city was that the original construction, they never took off the metal cages. They didn't put in the right grow medium in there, and we went so far as to look at our contract to see if they would replace them because it was so egregious, right? And unfortunately, we were, I think, a year outside of that warranty. And again, this was because there was no one paying attention to our trees in our downtown. Our urban trees have a very different need than our trees in the cemetery, our trees in our parks. So again, we're here to talk about the process of getting our tree warden. When we were told by the state, we by law have to have a tree warden. The tree committee was the one who was blowing that horn saying, hey, city, we need a tree warden. And so that was just tacked on to Jeff's signature line with no additional training or funding for Jeff. And so I think that is the history, is that we said, oh no, we need a tree warden. Let's officially give someone the title. But again, without that specialized training, those trees are going to continue to suffer. We have made a commitment in the way of these students who have replanted the trees. They have literal roots in our community. They're looking at them too. And they're hopeful that you all will make a great decision and have an investment in this role for tree warden. Yeah. Unfortunately, the tree committee did falter, just lack of participation. And so it got kind of conglomerated with other committees as well as the community garden committee, et cetera. But yeah, that's all my time. But I'm available to chat about the city trees at a time.
Thank you.
I just wanted to speak to how Adam helped with the Mathewson. We got a grant from the Vermont Urban and Community Forestry Program in 2025 to put more trees on the playground. As you know, it's asphalt. Historically, the playground goes back to the 1930s. And by necessity, it's asphalt. But Adam introduced us to a new method called the Stockholm method, which they actually used in Montpelier, and they originated in Stockholm in Sweden, to deal with urban areas that the ground is compacted and, the trees surrounded by asphalt by necessity. And we did something really innovative on the playground. If you look on the corner, there's a daylily garden, which donations, I should say, from Vermont Flower Farm. But we use this new Stockholm method, and we're really proud that we did something this innovative on the playground. And so keep an eye on the corner across from Mathewson Playground where Elm Street, directly across, I guess it's the southeast corner, where the daylily garden is, and watch the health of that. It's a native serviceberry tree there. We tried to use all natives, but without Adam, we would just the same old type of planting, in asphalt. Everything else is in grass. But so it's pretty exciting to have someone that has that knowledge, and that he did it with the Montpelier street trees too successfully. So.
And one more quick note is that we have an incredible resource that these students left for us. It's the Barre City Tree Nursery. Mm-hmm. It's a small little fortress that was built out on the land that we own out for our reservoir. And there are 45 trees currently that were planted as just single little stems that are now these trees ready for our downtown. And so Adam has taken it upon himself to go to the site, and we've done an inventory. He definitely has the expertise and the experience and is ready to start pulling those trees out of there. We've made the investment and to put those in our downtowns, which will save us money from buying those trees. So awesome.
Great. So how would you like to proceed, council?
I think they've all spoken very eloquently to
This is not a mistrust of my faith in Tom at all, simply that there is a
Oh,
specialized.
yeah, I think Tom will be crushed. That
I just wanted to say that up
That part
front.
really didn't worry me. I meant in terms of the
Yeah.
process. I mean, we do need to warn.
Yes,
So
we would have to
technically
warn
to
for next
remove
week.
Tom, so to remove at a point, we need to warn.
Yep.
We can't, or you could do it this evening and ratify. So that's why I was asking, what's your pleasure?
Sounds good.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
So the motion is to relieve Mr. Baker of his duties as tree warden and appoint Adam McCullough as tree warden. And we'll have to have it on our next agenda for ratification. That is the motion, and that is the second.
Second.
All those in favor, any discussion? All of those in favor of the motion is presented, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And those opposed, welcome aboard, Adam. And we'll get some cleanup stuff coming at you too, as far as the ordinance and charter go.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you this if you came back next week for appointment, but I'll ask it now. Do you have a favorite tree in Barre City?
In Barre City, there is a massive tree that's up 302 ways up near, there's a state office there. It's right across the street from the state office.
The mac and cheese, it was like the melt for a while.
Meltdown.
Oh, where the meltdown is?
Black walnut.
Oh,
Black walnut, yeah.
It's probably my favorite that I can think of right now.
when we
That's a
bought
nice
that, but
one.
we struggled. That poor tree was in tough shape when we bought the building, and I remember having folks come over, having an arborist come over and help us out with it. There's a lot of cabling up in that tree. They've cabled it over the years, and we were just trying to figure out how to keep it healthy, because it's a beautiful tree.
I have a question for you, Adam. Are you available to, as tree warden, are you available to give advice to property owners who may have old trees that they'd like to have, preserved and that may be struggling a little?
Yeah, I'll be available for that for sure, as kind of on an advisory basis. Typically, the jurisdiction of the tree warden is strictly city property.
trees, yeah.
But I'm happy to chat about trees. It's what I do all day. Just talk to you about the trees.
Thank you.
I do have, for years, many years, I've looked at Dante Park and have watched the hedge there behind that gorgeous statue kind of deteriorate because of box elders coming up in the hedge. It's such an entry point to Barre City, and I think it would be wonderful to get an assessment of this type of grant or something to restore that hedge behind the
It's already working, first minute.
There you go. Awesome.
Make a note. Thank you.
All right, thank you,
I just
folks.
wanted to say thank you to Adam for volunteering.
Yes.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, council, we'll move on to item 8D on the agenda. We will be revising the September meeting council dates. What have you got for us, Ms. Dawes?
I had put some information on my agenda memo that was in the packet. We currently have a meeting scheduled for next week, the 1st of September. And then the next one scheduled after that is the 15th. The 15th happens to be the school budget revote.
Yep.
Traditionally, the council doesn't meet on election days.
Yep, we will not.
And you and I exchanged some emails about maybe moving to the 22nd. I know that doesn't work for you. Doesn't mean the body couldn't meet without you. But
My schedule in September is unbearable. Yeah, I've got I've got a ton of things to do, so no, that's fine. And we will likely be interviewing candidates towards the latter part, so.
Middle.
Yeah, so latter part of, it's going to be a tough month.
So the 15th.
So you had suggested first.
So if we went with the 1st, the 22nd, and then we're already on the books for October 6th. So it would be, essentially, we'd be on an every other week.
Yeah.
So.
And we may need some flexibility from council
I was just gonna ask.
regarding candidate, it's important, candidate interviews. So I'm fine with that, council. Everyone okay with that?
So just to clarify, the 1st and the 22nd.
Yep.
And then back on regular schedule. So the only change is the September 15 gets changed to the 22nd.
Correct.
Perfect.
Okay. We're all good? Okay. And we will do that. We actually don't, we don't need a formal motion for that. That's more FYI.
I do think that, I'm not sure whether it should, I know that there have been changes with regards to what things are called special meetings and what things are called regular meetings. And since the 15th was on the posted schedule of regular meetings, we might want to warn the 22nd as a special meeting, but I can look at that, and I'll need to update the schedule as is. The entire rest of the year is posted on the city website. I'll get that updated.
So go ahead and warn away. We'll support you.
Cool.
All right, we'll see you then.
I'm going to stay here.
Thank you, thank you. Manager Search Committee update, Councilor Guston.
Wonderful, thank you. So I've given updates previously, but I wanted to bring you all up to the minute with our search. And we have a couple of committee members, Jess Carroll and Councilor Ruthier, with us this evening. The committee has, over the late last week and early this week, been interviewing, doing first round interviews with selected candidates. Dave Delcourt did a very nice article that came out over the weekend reviewing the manager search. I'll just recap the numbers that I gave him, which is that we've had 17 applications. We will have conducted 7 first round interviews by the time we have one last interview that I've snuck in on you all on Thursday, before our regular meeting on Thursday. I think I can speak for the committee. I would ask them to give general impressions as well, which is that I think it's gone very smoothly. I think it's a really good candidate pool, and I think we'll very confidently be able to suggest finalists to council. We are meeting this coming Thursday as a body to review what we're preparing is a report of our interview notes on all of our first round interviews, as well as our recommendations for finalists. Committee members are already reviewing that report. As soon as we finalize that as a body, you will all have it in your inboxes to read ahead of what I expect to be a conversation, or I've asked to be a conversation at the council meeting on September 1st in executive session. And our recommendation at that time will be for the council to make some decisions about finalists and about the next step of the process. To revisit what we have told every candidate we have interviewed is that the next round of the process will be in person in Barre City. What we have not made a commitment to either way, because council has been discussing this, is whether there will be public components to that in-person interview. And that should be something that we can address and discuss at the September 1st meeting based on the final pool of our applicants. I've said many times to you all and publicly that I would very much like us to be able to do a public component to the visit. I found that very valuable the last time we hired a manager, but we will have to look at the pool and see if it will lose us the candidate that we really want, and make adjustments from there. The final thing I'll say is that it's been a terrific committee. They've been all very involved, very thoughtful, very responsive, and really just deeply thoughtful about their evaluation of the candidates, and deeply committed to a process that has taken into account what we have heard from council, as well as what we have heard from residents of Barre City about their priorities and their ideas and their dreams for Barre City. And that has been a really helpful lens that we have brought to our first round conversations with these candidates. So the committee stands ready to turn the process over to council as September 1st. If council does decide that they would like a public component to the process, several committee members would also like to help make that happen, which is what we did previously, and it still ends up being a lot of logistics. So that can be a
Describe
helpful
what
thing.
you mean by that.
Yeah, so in our previous round, we can do almost anything, right? But in our previous round of managers, the public components, well, let me describe the whole day. We did a whole day with each candidate. Each candidate did a visit to a public works project currently or about to be under construction to get a sense of Barre City's infrastructure needs. Each candidate did a meeting with staff in City Hall and a meeting with department heads in City Hall. Each candidate had an hour-long public session, at which we advertised and said any member of the public who wants to stop in and sort of get a feel for this person can come and have that conversation. Each candidate had, I think it was lunch with the mayor at the time. It was either breakfast or lunch. I apologize, it's not at the top of my mind. And then each candidate had an hour, I believe some of them ended up ending an hour plus conversation, executive session with the council, and then a public presentation. We gave them 3 different topics and they could choose whichever one they wanted to address. They were very varied. They were like, how would you address this budget-wise, or how would you do this economic development thing? And they could address in about a 20-minute or half-an-hour presentation, like their ideas for Barre City in a public council meeting. So it was a full day. Oh, and I'm sorry, each candidate also got to choose, like, what else would you like to do? One candidate chose to tour the wastewater treatment plant, and the other candidate chose to go to a high school classroom and talk to the kids about what they saw for the future of Barre City. So it was a very full day. It was, there were also like some little side things. Like one candidate was super into the outdoors, so I took them hiking. The other candidate, we like drove around the couple of neighboring towns to get a sense of like the broader region. So there was a lot in terms of, and the pieces that we would, I don't know if I do all that again, although it did help them, I think, get a sense of Barre City. The public questions are things like, do we do that presentation again at a council meeting that the public can watch? Do we have that public drop-in session again? I think we can work almost everything else out one way or the other. We can have a meeting with department heads and just make sure everyone understands that there are privacy concerns. We can certainly take them around the city. We can certainly have individual meetings with other folks that are made to understand the delicacy of a hiring process. But it's those really, really public aspects that I think are in question.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry, that was long-winded, but hopefully helpful.
It was, but that's okay. No, I mean, I agree. It worked, like I've said before, it's as much their interview as ours. So most of our candidates will not likely be from Barre. So you want them to be familiar, you want them to be secure in their choice. So the public component, I'm all in favor of. As I recall, we did invite the department heads to sit down with them and speak with them. I don't recall if it was in a big meeting or if it was one-on-one. I don't remember.
It was here in this room.
Yeah, so it was all of them here.
It was 2 hours and 1 hour.
We asked the department heads for their opinions, as I recall. And so I would want, like I said, you value people's opinions, so I'd like to hear specifically, if they're inclined, I'd like to hear what the department heads had to say as well. And we didn't, I don't recall that we, in terms of some of the visits that we set up, I think maybe the Aldrich was one. I don't recall that we asked folks to weigh in. We just said, we want you to meet them. So we didn't ask them for their opinion in terms of, gee, who should we hire?
No.
But we did ask that question of the department heads, and I'd be interested in asking that question again. As far as the rest of it, the process that we followed then seemed to work really well. So I don't know that we might tweak it a little bit, but I don't know that we have to reinvent the wheel.
All right.
And yeah, obviously the interviews would be executive. Interviews are obviously executive session. And we will likely provide a Zoom option. My strong preference is in person, but we would likely provide a Zoom option. Obviously, we would not record it.
Yeah, we have told every candidate that they will be expected to be.
No, they will be expected
I'm
to be
sorry,
there.
the
If
council.
something
Okay.
comes up with a member of the council, we'll
Yeah,
have that option. And we may, the treasurer is technically not a department head. She is, the treasurer and the mayor and the clerk are the only citywide officers that are elected by the entire.
I'm appointed now.
Oh, that's right, you didn't, you
I'm
used
just
to
a
be.
grunt.
So you kind of are, but no, I mean, I'd like to.
But I've had the opportunity
I'd like
to speak
everyone
with
to
them,
be,
so.
to be represented in, like Cheryl. I'd like Cheryl's opinion.
No, we
So-
can absolutely massage that process, and I think we can, with that feedback, sort of, maybe what we'll do is we'll have a sort of a two-path, like, one is like, here are all the things they could do, and then here are all the things plus the public that we could do, and we could address that next week when we look at the finalist pool and sort of see whether, the big concern is we don't want to lose a candidate if we say you have to give a presentation to the public and city council that night. We don't want to jeopardize their potential current employment.
Right, your home newspaper is going to pick it up.
Yeah.
About it.
And that is going to depend on what our finalist pool looks like. And I don't.
Yeah, that was, as I recall, that was a little tricky.
Yep.
Because once you get to that point, even if the council says, look, well, okay, we're going to set this up for you and just go on the QT, well,
Yeah.
nah,
No,
it
there's
doesn't work
no-
that way.
we can't
So
make any
it
assurance
was,
about
even though we weren't advertising it, we, at that point, when the council gets the packets and you get the resumes, well, we can guarantee them confidentiality at that point. Once you get to the point where there's any sort of public process, we simply can't.
Yep, absolutely.
But depending upon, what are you thinking, 3 candidates we'll be interviewing?
You have asked for between 3 and 5. I'm very confident we will hit 3, and I think the committee will have some conversations about 4 and 5.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. If we get 3 very qualified candidates, I'm fine with that. But like I said, at a certain point, once they get to the final 3, it's like, look, one of you is going to be offered a job. So it kind of has to be. And I trust all of you. I'm comfortable with it either way. If there were 2 out of 3 candidates who said, if I have to do a public presentation, look, with all due respect, this job intrigued me, but my current employer doesn't know I'm looking, and I really didn't even expect to be looking. But here I am, and if you offered me the job, I would accept it, but I can't do a public process. I have too much at stake. If 2 out of 3 candidates said that, there would be no public process as far as I'm concerned. And people would have to understand that and trust the people that you elected to see this process through, and this is why.
Right.
Because a choice, if we do the public process, there's going to be a choice made for us. We will have 1 candidate. And oh, by the way, as I look at the resumes, I really like these other 2 as well. I haven't made up my mind. So, just stay flexible with it. But thank you, Councilor Ruthier, Councilor Guston, thank you. And thank the entire committee, you're doing a great job.
I will say, one thing that's been really positive is that every applicant that we interviewed, every single person on the committee made every interview, where everyone was there. No one missed it. And that was a tight schedule for people, especially, like people who still have jobs or business or what have you. But I was really impressed with that.
Great.
Yeah,
Thank you. We
it's been a lot
appreciate
of
the.
commitment. I do have one final question that the committee asked that I bring forward. When we go into executive session next week, who would you like from the committee to be part of that executive session as a council?
On the first?
Yes.
All of them?
The entire committee?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it would be disrespectful I want to invite them all. They don't have to come.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure that if they, after all the work they've put in, if they have something to say or add, I just want to make sure they can say or add it.
I will get that invite out.
Yeah, and matter of fact, we can, if you want, we could do that at 5. If
So
it would be easier, just ask the committee. If it's easier for them, if we do it at 5, when we go through an agenda, I can predict within an hour of when we're going to go, but do they really want to, sit by the computer for what might be 2 hours, might be 2.5, might be 3? I don't know. I don't think we've got a big agenda next week, so probably the easiest thing would be to do it if you think 5:30, I don't care. Or we could do it at 6, I don't care. You know, I don't think, I want to be more accommodating of the committee who has put in more of the work at this point than anything else. So if you want an executive session at 6 PM, that's fine with me.
I will reach out to the committee tonight and get a feel for, I think we'll try for a 5. And if we can get peaks on, I don't know.
Yeah, I think after Thursday would be,
Yeah, just.
You were.
Mr. Mayor, I mean, I'm going to ask all of you if you have anything you can think of for the agenda next week, but at the moment, this is the item for the agenda next week. So I think if we kept it with an executive session at the end, we're going to get there really quick.
Okay.
Because there's nothing else on the agenda.
Okay, so
at this
we'll
stage.
be there by 6:37 probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
And then we keep warrants and everything else moving along. I'm good.
I will reach out to the committee and just get their confirmation on that, and Carol and I can stay in touch. If that changes, we can play with the schedule. All right, does anyone else have any other questions on the process? Or Carol or Councilor Ruth here?
Okay, so we'll move on to item 9 on the agenda. What's that?
I'm making sure everyone had their questions answered, and we're good.
Yeah, we'll move on to item 9 on the agenda under upcoming business. Man, for me, it has been all DR all the time. So other than what I mentioned to the chief this evening, we're just trying to pave streets and get railroad crossings done and hire a city manager and get through the DR applications. So, you know what, I think at the end of September, when we're working with a new city manager, or we have appointed a new city manager, I think that's when we kind of catch our breath. Y'all okay with that?
Yep.
All right.
But I do want to just, if anybody knows of anything that should be on next week's agenda, please let me know sooner rather than later. So-
Yeah, no, we're pretty sparse. Purposely, we've all been busy. Councilor Ruthie, or any, sorry.
Is it possible that we could get an update about the auditorium and the renovations from Mr. Baker?
Sure.
I second that.
Tom has been out, unfortunately. Could you ask Tom to come in and give us an update? We'll get him in early on the agenda. Yep, we'll do that on the 1st. Yeah, you're welcome. Councilor Deering, got anything under roundtable?
School starts tomorrow for Barre City, and just looking forward to all those amazing faces that are going to be there tomorrow, smiling and ready, and even those kids that aren't necessarily ready to learn. I know that we have a lot of amazing educators and people that are putting in a lot, and phrase that Tom Bull, one of the counselors, had said during our PBIS training was a new day, a new way, and a new story. And there's a lot of exciting things going on at Barre City, and you will see a lot of those amazing things, I think, this school year. So stay tuned.
Absolutely. Counselor?
Yes.
Counselor Guston?
Just that I'm very sad about Dolly Parton. Yeah, that's all. She was pretty great.
Counselor Spalding?
I had the opportunity to go to the Ward 5 Artist Celebration. Mary Topinga, I think is how you say her name, did some mosaic art up the stairs, and it's beautiful. This is the same artist when we went to see the Black Lives Matter. It's the same artist who did that work, and she did great work, and it was really beautiful. So the artwork is really great, so I would encourage you to go up and check it out. But also, it's really great just knowing that we have a really great partner in Down Street. They're doing amazing stuff. And I didn't go through any of the apartments. I just walked through the old, like in the hallways of the Ward 5 school, and heard about the number of units and that sort of thing. And it's just, I'm glad that that's there. So it was great.
Awesome. Councilor Bergeron, Councilor Ruth here.
Just to add a little bit, what Councilor Darren said, everybody be conscientious this week. A lot of children out there, buses, school starting. We don't need any tragedies to start this off.
Thank you. What was exciting for me this week? The fence finally came down at 75 North Main, so that was actually more exciting for Karen than it was for me. We were waiting, they had to face the steps with granite, and so we didn't want to be putting them up and taking them down, putting them up, taking them down. So they're finally down, and we just have one more little hurdle to go. It's a public safety thing, not something that's within our control, but there is a part that is missing, so the fire alarm system isn't going to work until they install the part. So believe it or not, we've got 8 beautiful units waiting for a $39.99 part to come in and get put in. But Trim Schweenard and Lauren and Karen, that was all them, and they did a great job, and it's going to be, they're excited to add another 8 housing units here in Barre. So with that, council, we do need an executive session to go into legal and real estate.
Get a findings?
Motion for findings, please. Thank you.
Second.
All those in favor of the motion is presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, and a motion to actually enter executive session.
Invite me
We do
in.
not expect
God, no.
we don't expect action, David. Motion to go into executive session would be in order. Thank you.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion is presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, council will be in executive session in just a couple minutes.
Getting so good at this.
Nobody's here.
No, everyone left while we were.
Yeah, nobody's going to say.
I'll let you actually
Motion to
officially come
exit
out.
executive session?
Thank you. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion is presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And a motion to adjourn would
The
be.
one thing, no.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I wanted to just squeak this in open session. I do want to make sure that we don't forget the incredible TIF opportunities associated with 143.
Oh,
That we're
yes.
going to roll those in, because TIF will cover the $400,000.
Yes.
TIF will cover any remediation. TIF will cover demolition. We need to make sure that, and particularly
Yes.
now that we have a development agreement, we need to get together. talk
Yeah,
about
get with Janet on that to make sure that was mentioned by the developer in their proposal.
Okay.
That they would
Good.
be looking for TIF, and I think the number was $1 million,
And
but
that's, we're comfortable with at least $1 million. So, but we got to go to the voters, so we need to get
we need to hustle.
get our ducks in a row.
We want it
Understood.
for November? Would we
Not
want
this
it
year.
for Not this year?
No, we would likely do, because we would have to go through substantial change at VEPSI, we likely would have to do a special election next fall. So. But it's all doable, and as long as we've got a development agreement, we can power through.
There you go.
So.
Awesome. Motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. All those in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you, folks.